The verbal fur was flying Thursday inside the Beltway as the head of the CDC was thoroughly grilled about response to the Ebola crisis. And the discourse is rising on the issue of shutting down all travel from Ebola-affected countries coming to America, something the president says is not necessary and some believe is the only logical next step. This a decision that cannot be made lightly, as costing one more American life would be too many. Welcome to Midpoint, representing Pennsylvania's 7th Congressional District, currently serving his second term in Congress and a member of influential committees such as Oversight and Government Reform, Homeland Security, and House Ethics. Pleased to be joined by Congressman Pat Meehan. Congressman, thank you so much for being here.
Hey, Ed, it's great to be with you, and thanks for having me on.
It is an absolute pleasure. The travel ban is something that has everybody up in arms right now. We had a bioterrorism expert who was on not long ago on the show who said it would be a terrible idea to isolate Western Africa under any circumstances. What's your take?
Well, I don't think that necessarily means that we isolate Western Africa. The opportunity to continue to get the appropriate and essential personnel and materials there need not be impacted with the kind of planning that could accommodate the support for getting just those kinds of things there. But I think you're already beginning to see European countries and others speaking about exactly the same kind of thought, and the successes that have been realized in containing the things at this point have been because they've been able to work to create the environment that restricts the travel and other kinds of things while we get a handle on this issue. So I think it's just prudent that we be discussing and hopefully implementing those kinds of things here in the United States.
How frustrating is it for you when you hear the president discount something like this so quickly out of hand when there seems to be growing evidence that it is the right thing to do?
Well, I'm frustrated because I haven't heard the explanation that justifies the unwillingness to look at it in enough of a convincing way that I think what is in balance, at least until we get a handle first on the ability for us here in the United States to have confidence that we have the protocols understood and the capacity to efficiently and safely redirect any kinds of problems that are associated to the places where, they can best be done. We hear about SWAT teams that are going to come flying in, but, the 24-hour period and how it presents things, there's just an awful lot of unknowns at this point in time. And I'm not trying to be overreactive. I just think that while we begin to build that capacity and give the American people more confidence that this system is capable of reacting effectively, it is prudent to restrict the travel and begin to try to get a handle on it in the countries in which it's emanating from as well.
About 90 seconds I have left here. In order to try and rebuild some of that confidence, would it be necessary now to fire Tom Frieden at the CDC and get someone new in there to at least show the American people that some of the incompetence that has undergone at the CDC in the last several months might at least need someone else to lead the way out?
Well, we've already seen the president now appoint another czar. I mean, some have been calling for that. The jury is going to be out. The key there is going to be having a genuine leader who has the ability to rally and galvanize and actually direct the resources that are there. I'm not one that just automatically calls for heads. Sometimes in time like this, you need people that understand it, and the most important thing is to have people with purported expertise in the area at the front of the line dealing with the issues. But at the same time, we have to have credible performance from those who are the leaders, and there's been a few too many missteps that are raising a lack of confidence in some of the American people about the preparedness to address this.
About 30 seconds and that I have left. Ron Klain, who's supposedly the Ebola czar, has no extensive background in healthcare but in management. So would he then be the right guy?
I'm concerned because of lack of extensive knowledge. He's got to surround himself with people who do have that and then direct them in an effective way. He's going to be on the hot seat, and we can't afford to get it wrong. It is important to have a place, at least where there's responsibility and accountability. So I think the president moving in that direction is important, but this guy's got to make the trains run correctly.
Can't take any chances if lives are at risk here. Congressman Pat Meehan, an absolute pleasure, my friend. Thank you so much. We'll speak again.
Thanks so much.
Take care. Later on this hour, the recreational marijuana use in Colorado raises a serious question that even you need to consider. That's in Telling It Like It Is, later on Midpoint.